Hello my love and welcome back to the channel, and if you are new here, I am Kay, an astrologer, numerologist and spiritual witch here on YouTube. Listen, if you've been attracted to this video, take this as your confirmation from your own spirit guides and angels that you were meant to receive it. Check out the new book by me also, Make It Happen, How to Manifest Anything. The link is in the description box below. Let's get into your video. Hello Aries and welcome back to the channel, and if you are new here then thank you so much for being here, and if you've been here before then thank you for returning. So look Aries, it's a big month for you, I'm not even gonna lie, because we have a full moon in Aries, so that's great news, but also we have the eclipse happening towards the end of the month. So this is going to be about releasing and something new coming into your life. So what we've got here on the screen is the chart for the actual full moon in Aries and how it's going to look. It's going to happen on the 9th of October at 8:55 p.m. This is GMT, my local time, and it will be at 16 degrees of the sign Aries. So if you are an Aries who has your sun around this kind of point, you know, or near to 16 degrees, if you know your chart well, this could impact you in a big way. Even if you are an Aries who is born right at the start of the season and your sun is not anywhere near 16 degrees, it will impact you all. But obviously those of you who are born closer to the 16-degree point, this will be your time. But before we get to the full moon and before we head here, as we start the month, it's all about your relationships, business and partnerships, if you are in any, because the sun at this point at the first of the month will actually be in the sign Libra. So this is where the energy of blessings comes in. If we look on the screen, we can see the sun and the moon both circled in black on the left hand side. We've got the sun down the bottom, 16 degrees of Libra. We've got the moon 16 degrees of Aries, showing us the full moon just opposite that. The sun will move from where it is on the screen, and this is obviously going to move up to where the arrow and number 1 is, and your 7th house. So your relationships, partnerships, business, if you are someone who is dealing with any of this or has plans for any of this as an Aries, the start of the month might be a good time to work on this, because the sun is blessing this. Health, growth, vitality, this is what the sun will bring. Now when we actually get to the full moon, which is going to be on the 9th, what I'm seeing here for you Aries is a theme of healing trauma for all of us. And I say this because if we look on the screen where we've got the arrow and number 2, we can see the moon. There she is, 16 degrees of Aries, giving us the full moon. Just next to her, to the right hand side, we've got Chiron, and this is the asteroid of healing. And so with these two energies conjunct, the moon and Chiron, it is about emotional healing, because this particular asteroid deals with healing our wounds. You know, that's what he does. So where this is happening in the sign of Aries and it's around your energy, this is going to impact on you no matter what degree your sun is, or where you are in the season, or where you was born. You know, in terms of where you fall as an Aries, you should experience, hopefully I'm praying for, some emotional healing, because it's going to be happening in your first house of you. So this is your desires, what it is that you want, your appearance, how you approach life, how you show up in the world, everything that is basically to do with you as a person. This is where you could expect that. Now that same week we've got some pretty big things happening as well, because we've got Mercury, which is on the screen down the bottom circled in blue, and the number 3 by it. Mercury will actually be turning direct, so this is good news. We're out of Mercury retrograde, and for you Aries, this is going to impact on your ability to earn. So it's your 6th house. So it's things like how you earn your money, your health, your disputes, and services that you may provide to any other situation, person, place or thing. This will fall in this area of life. Now Mercury is the planet that will deal with thoughts, communication and short distance travel. It's quite possible, while we've been going through Mercury retrograde over the last couple of weeks, things around this area of your life could have been maybe a little bit up and down, or maybe even communication was a little bit difficult with people, situations, places and things. But during this actual full moon week of Aries, when he turns direct, I'm hoping and I'm predicting for this sign that hopefully communication and things will move a lot more smoother in this part of your life. The second thing that's happening during this full moon week is also we're going to have Pluto, which is circled in green and number 4 up on the screen. He's going to be turning direct as well. Now this is a planet of transformation and change. This is a planet that will basically force things to happen in our life, whether we like it or not. And 9 times out of 10, I like to think, no matter how painful it is, whatever's happening, Pluto is here trying to assist us, but it's not always comfortable. Now, for you, Aries, this planet has been going through retrograde, and he will turn direct at 26 degrees of the sign Capricorn. And this is going to touch your career. So up in your 10th house, your career, your direction, your fame, quote unquote, what you're known for, or however it is that you try to get ahead in life, or whatever it is that you're aiming for. Pluto's direct motion, if you have been experiencing maybe some setbacks or been a bit unsure about things that are happening in your career part of your life, or your direction, or your fame, or whatever it is you're known for, or your ambition, Pluto could just turn direct and force some real positive change for you. And I'm really, really hoping that this does come through, because this actual full moon week, it does look pretty powerful. And as I said, let's not forget, this is an Aries full moon. So it's about you guys standing up, doing whatever it is that you plan to do. In this week, I would earmark the 9th of October as your special week to do your rituals, candles, affirmations, manifestation, whatever it is that you plan to do. It is an Aries full moon. You are ruling things, so go out and enjoy it. So as we move forward through the month, and we've got through the Aries full moon, which will be on the 9th, we're then going to get towards the end of the month on the 25th at 11:49 a.m. This is GMT, my local time again. It could be the same day for you, or it could be the day before. When we have the moon at 2 degrees of Scorpio, this is where we're going to have the eclipse. So on the screen, we've got the chart for the day and how the eclipse is going to look. And this is going to be an eclipse that is going to happen in the South Node area. So where we've got on the screen circled, we've got 3 planets. We've got the sun and the moon side by side, 2 degrees of Scorpio. Then to the left of that, we've got Venus, which is also at 2 degrees of Scorpio. Now for you, Aries, this is going to bring major transformation around what it is that you share in life. So this is things like your shared finances, your debts, property, your shared time, anything, your situations, people, places, and things that you give your time to, and also even things like sexual desires that we share with others. It's going to fall here. This is what we call your 8th house. Now, the other key thing about this house is that it is the house of transformation as well. So where you had that transformative energy around your career at the start of the month, with Pluto turning direct, as we get to the eclipse, there could be more transformation generally in your life, however it resonates for you. Now, one key thing that we need to know about this actual new moon eclipse is that when we have 3 planets or more under a sign, we call this a stellium. And this means that this area of life, wherever this is falling for the person, this is going to be key. Now add on top of that the fact that we've got the stellium with the sun, the moon and Venus all in one house and under one sign. We've also got this happening during a new moon eclipse. Now, this particular eclipse, I see it as an astrologer as a release, an opportunity, and definitely for some of us, no matter what your sun sign is, maybe something falling away from your life. And I feel this way because if you look to the left on the screen, where we've got the 3 planets circled in black, we've got the South Node. And the South Node is about the past, release and letting things go. But at the same time, this is a new moon. So a new moon is going to bring in new and fresh opportunities with you and with your life, and hopefully with this eclipse as well. But what I see for Aries is that basically when it comes to your life generally, especially your shared finances, you could experience some great transformation. And this is fantastic considering that this is happening in the same month for Aries sun sign where you have a full moon in your sign as well. So that's really, really good. Now, what else is happening during this new moon week is we've got a couple of things going on. We've first got Saturn, which is circled in green, where we've got the number 2. Saturn, the planet of challenges, maturity, withdrawal, the planet that basically disciplines us. He is about to turn direct at 18 degrees in Aquarius, under the sign that he is actually associated with. And for Aries, this is going to move from where it is on the screen up to where your hopes, dreams, and important people in your life fall. So this is a really, really nice area of life to have this happen. So he's been retrograding. So you may have been feeling in your, when it comes to your hopes, your dreams, or maybe even important people in your life, that there's been some withdrawal, some holdback, maybe even some challenges, or maybe even some learning could have happened in this area of your life. When he turns direct this week of the new moon, things could start to shift for you. Now, I want to draw your attention, Aries, to the fact that this house, where I said to you important people, this is people like your co-workers, your associates, people that you network with, even people that you find on social media that you've never met in real life, but you really connect with them. These are people that are not romantically in your life. So this isn't necessarily a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, or a wife. When we think of the 11th house and we think of the people that come here, these are friendships, connections, associates that we make, people that we have a connection with for any other reason other than romance, but they are very, very important to us. So think about those people and see how things go in your life when Saturn actually turns direct. Now, the second thing, we're going to have a retrograde happening, which is for Mars. Mars, this is the planet of determination, how we express our anger. This is the planet of war. This is the planet of sex as well, and how we express our sexual energy when we put it into the context of an actual person's birth chart. So where we've got Mars circled in blue on the screen and the number 3 next to it, this planet here is going to turn retrograde, which means, for anyone who's not familiar with this term, that the planet has basically got to the furthest point it can in the universe, and he or she, depending on what planet it is, appears from an Earth's perspective that the planet is actually traveling backwards. Although technically it's impossible to do so, we call it a retrograde, and it appears to be because everything else in the universe is still moving. So when a planet retrogrades, basically what it does is it brings us back to a situation, person, place, or thing in our life. And where this is going to fall for the sign of Aries is around your extended family, your learning, education, travel, and it's the house of thoughts and communication. So we're talking about your 3rd house here. Now for Aries, obviously this is quite key because this is your ruling planet. So even though the retrograde is not happening in the sign of Aries, it's happening in the sign of Gemini, it is your ruling planet. So you may feel this quite a lot as an Aries. So you may feel yourself pulled back, towards the end of the month, after the eclipse or during the eclipse, or at any point when this retrograde happens, to do with this particular area of your life. Now, the advice that I would say is, because it is the planet of Mars, just be mindful of your anger. Be mindful of your anger, and at the same time, you may find that your motivation or drive for certain things, particularly around your 3rd house, which would be, your extended family, uncles, aunts, people that, it could even be people that you are close with. You don't necessarily consider as a blood relative, but you're so close to them, you consider them as part of your family. So when it comes to these people and your actual extended family, you may find a lack of motivation here, or, be mindful of your anger and all the things that Mars represents, because for some reason, he is going to be pulling you back to something here. So it could be that you need to reassess something, have a conversation about something with someone, or take some kind of action, or it could even be for you, Aries, that you just need to be still and see what's happening, in this part of your life while your ruling planet is actually going back through a retrograde, which will be for a couple of weeks. So finally, Aries, one last thing that I want to draw your attention to as we go through the month of October is that Jupiter, which has been in retrograde, is about to move back into the sign of Pisces. Now, I did do a video on this and why it is such a beautiful thing when we have Jupiter in Pisces. Jupiter and Pisces, they are a dynamic duo, and whenever we have this, we really need to take opportunities that come to us, because Jupiter is the planet of luck, fortune, expansion. He will bring growth, health, vitality. It's the planet of spirituality, publishing, sports, and spirituality. It's a very, very benevolent planet. And so at this point in time, as we close out the month, he's actually going to be at 0 degrees of What sign? Aries. So we can see him here on the screen before he moves back into Pisces at 0 degrees of Aries. He's circled here in red. And when a planet is at 0 degrees, it offers you a chance for a new chapter. If you have a planet at 0 degrees in your birth chart, like myself, or you know someone who has, whatever planet this represents and whatever house it is in this life incarnation, if you are a karmatic astrologer or you believe in that kind of astrology like I do, this is the place in your life of a planet that's really going to be a saving grace and help you to create new chapters. Now, in terms of this horoscope, for you, it's going to be your first house. It's going to be about you, Aries. So when he gets to this point at 0 degrees, really take any opportunities that come to you. Take any opportunities that you think might be beneficial to you. This is going to be, at any point, towards the end of the month from the eclipse up until the 28th, because on the 28th at 6:09 a.m., this is GMT, my local time again, this is when Jupiter is going to push back and go from Aries into Pisces. So this is where you're going to feel the Midas touch of, luck, benevolence and good energy, especially when Jupiter is under this particular sign. So for you, as you can see on the screen where I've put the arrow, it is going to be your 12th house. So this is a very nice area of life to actually have Jupiter's energy in Pisces in, because this is the area of life of where we feel held back. So right about now, as we close out October and we've gone through the eclipse and we go through to November, for you, Aries, what I would say is think about situations, people, places and things that have been holding you back, or where you feel you've been held back. Because if you experience this or this resonates with you, while you've got Jupiter retrograding back in the sign of Pisces, it could be a good time to really address these things where you feel held back. Now, the thing with the 12th house is as well, this is a house of what we want deep down. It's the subconscious. It's everything here is very hidden. So you may need to do some real reflection about this. It may not become obvious to you where you feel held back or what it is that's been holding you back. And the other thing to say about the 12th house is it represents large organizations that you work for or deal with. It represents hospitals. It represents law enforcement. This is the house of spirit communication. So not spirituality, which would be the 9th house generally. This is actual things like communication with spirit guides, communication with the dead, downloads that you may receive if you have that kind of viewpoint and you believe in this. This is the area of life where we will be guided, by something out of this world, by some kind of spirit guide. So it's a good time as well to follow your intuition, because while you've got this retrograde happening in this part of your life, it could be that some key messages come to you and you should take those key messages, and if it resonates with you, maybe act on them, because Jupiter is really blessing this part of your life. Now, the final thing about this part of life where you're going to be having this retrograde for you, Aries, is that the 12th house also includes hidden enemies. So what do I mean by this? And I don't want anybody to freak out when I explain this, but a hidden enemy in astrology is basically people, places, situations and things that we may feel have our back, or we may feel that we have a connection with, or they're working with us rather than against us, but really they are working against us, and they're not our friend, or they're not, trying to actually help us. They've got some kind of alternative motive, and this motive is normally to our detriment. So this is what would be classed as a hidden enemy. So it's like people who act like they like you but they really don't, or situations, places and things that are really just not meant for you, but we may think that they are because we're under the impression that they are. So while you've got this retrograde going on in this part of your life, as mentioned, Jupiter under Pisces is a very, very good look, and it's very, very helpful, and it is literally that Midas touch energy. So for some of you, your hidden enemies may be revealed. So as we end the month, keep that in mind as well. You might get some kind of, I don't know, sign or gain clarification of a situation, person, place or thing that maybe is not for your highest good or has been working against you. But in the long run, because it's Jupiter here activating this, it could be quite beneficial to you, even if it may not be a nice experience, to learn that a situation, person, place or thing really is a hidden enemy. So that's about it, Aries. That's all I have for you for this month. It's a pretty, big horoscope. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of areas of your life that are being touched by different planets and retrogrades and things turning direct. But the main thing that I would love anybody to take from this is to remember that the Aries full moon at the start of the month is really your time. So really, really do make the most of that week around the 9th of October as we move forward for those 7 days. It's going to be a great time for you. It's your time to shine. And I hope you have a wonderful month of October. My only intention was to help someone out there who may come across this horoscope. So if something has resonated or helped you, please do give the video a like if you haven't already. If you're new here, do subscribe. Why not? I would love to see you here again. And if you're someone who's coming back and you're returning, as mentioned, thanks always for being here. It's great to have you here. So enjoy October. Check out the Jupiter video, which may pop up here somewhere as I'm speaking, so you can understand in a bit more detail about the importance of Jupiter under the sign of Pisces. And also don't forget the new and full moon affirmations based on what's happening around that newer full moon should be coming out on the channel as well. They may just pop up here somewhere as I'm speaking, so do check those out, and I will see you in November for your horoscope then. So enjoy the month, and I'll see you soon.